What happens when an HOA president believes she can outsmart both an entire community and the power of nature itself? Imagine living in the shadow of the world's largest volcano. Your family has respected its strength for generations, never daring to build where danger quietly waits beneath the ground. Suddenly, an outsider arrives promising wealth, prestige, and luxury tourism. She sees opportunity where you see risk. The result is a battle between community wisdom and reckless ambition that ends with molten lava swallowing everything she worked for. The story begins in the town of Hilo, on the eastern side of Hawaii's Big Island. Life here has deep roots in tradition. Families honor cultural festivals like the Merry Monarch, they share music and dance with visitors, and they live close to nature's rhythms. Above the town towers Mauna Loa, a volcano that Hawaiians have long revered and respected. We know its history well. We know that the land is both beautiful and dangerous. For centuries, that respect guided how we used it. It was during one of these festivals that Karen appeared. She was an HOA president from the mainland who had first charmed the community with warmth and curiosity. She danced with the crowd, tasted local food, and even laughed with children at Coconut Island. She visited the farmers' market and stopped to buy produce from Timothy Wallace, a voice of reason and leadership in our town. She seemed genuine, and for a while people welcomed her. But slowly her true interest revealed itself. Tourists came to Hilo not only for festivals but also to witness the majesty of the volcano. To Karen, this was not just a landmark. It was a business opportunity. She imagined luxury villas perched directly on the volcanic slope, marketed as an unforgettable and exclusive Hawaiian lifestyle experience. When news spread of her ambitions, the community pushed back. Timothy called together townspeople in meetings. We reminded her that Mauna Loa was still active, that eruptive events had shaped our lands many times before. We insisted this was sacred land belonging to Hilo's people and that no one would dare place homes directly in harm's path. But Karen dismissed our warnings. She believed we were exaggerating, even mocking her vision. She pressed forward with her project despite every plea to stop. The years passed and Karen's plan grew bolder. Investors from the mainland poured in money after she promised them tourism profits and luxury real estate in paradise. Her pitch was persuasive. She called the project the future of Hawaiian living. Ads and glossy brochures displayed ocean views above the clouds, making the villas look like a dream come true. But we watched with worry as construction crews carved into the slope. Roads were cut. Steel pillars were anchored deep into the mountain's surface. Stone and timber were hauled in by the truckload. For Karen, progress was triumph. For us, it was disaster slowly taking shape. Timothy raised concerns again and again, quoting records of past eruptions that had devastated this same area. Generations had lived and evacuated from lava flows in the past. The signs were always there. Yet Karen saw only profits and applause from distant investors. She argued the land was stable and safe enough. She assured everyone that we were exaggerating dangers to block her project. Months later, the tremors began. Subtle rumbles shook the ground, felt mostly at night. To Hilo's people this was not routine. It was the voice of the mountain rumbling to life. Workers at the site expressed concern, but Karen dismissed it as island life. She ordered the drilling and construction to continue. Soon the tremors intensified. Smoke appeared at dawn. A thin gray veil stretched across the horizon. The mountain was stirring. The town braced in silence as we knew what was coming next. Karen told her investors and construction teams that nothing serious would happen. She boasted that these were signs of minor volcanic activity and nothing more. Then the eruption came. It started with the earth cracking open across new fissures. Flames lit the sky as molten lava burst forward with violent force. The flow surged down the slope, unstoppable, a wall of fire consuming trees, ground, and everything in its path. Most importantly, it surged directly toward the half-built villas. Within minutes, steel bent and warped. Cement blackened and collapsed. Imported woods and beams burst into fire. Workers fled as alarms rang out. This was no slow burn. It was destruction rolling over Karen's dream in real time. And yet in that moment the community showed its strength. Timothy and other leaders quickly organized people to evacuate. They warned the laborers, they diverted traffic, and they assembled families away from danger. The fact that no lives were lost that day was proof not of Karen's preparation but of the community's unity. We had cared about lives, not luxury. The eruption left Karen with nothing. The villas were gone, reduced to melted structures under a blanket of hardened lava. Decades of geological warnings had been proven right in a single forceful day. Investors discovered that their money had vanished into ash, their trust betrayed by promises that ignored science, culture, and community wisdom, and that is where the deeper lesson lies. Homeowners associations and their leaders are meant to protect and preserve the communities they represent. Instead, what we saw with Karen was an HOA president chasing profit over protection, ambition over responsibility. She used her authority to push forward a risky dream at the expense of the very land and people she claimed to admire. The result was inevitable conflict, wasted investment, and personal disgrace. Karen's downfall did not stop with the eruption. As investigators looked into her dealings, it became clear that she had misled her investors. She had promised them safety, long-term gain, and stable assets while using their money for a venture that could never survive against the truth of the volcano. Eventually, she was arrested for those fraudulent claims. The key insight for homeowners across America is this: whether it is a luxury project in Hawaii or a neighborhood decision in your town, leaders who ignore expert warnings and community voices create enormous risks. A board must place people and safety above personal ambition. Otherwise, the result might not be lava, but lawsuits, financial collapse, or broken trust within the neighborhood. When the eruption was over, Hilo stood together in resilience. Our ancestors had lived with Mauna Loa before, and so had we. By evacuating swiftly and respecting knowledge handed down for generations, we protected lives. We had shown that true leadership values people above property, safety above ambition. Karen's story is a reminder of what happens when authority is misused in HOA leadership. She had the chance to build trust, to learn from tradition, and to respect the community she visited. Instead, she gambled with forces she did not understand, and all she built was melted away in fire. For homeowners and board members everywhere, the lesson is clear. Transparency, caution, and respect are not obstacles to success. They are the foundation of it. No glossy promise of profit, no shortcut to wealth, should ever silence the warnings of experts or the wisdom of a community that knows its land best. Today, when we gather during our cultural festivals or walk along Coconut Island or shop at the farmer's market, we remember the eruption. We remember how close we came to disaster, and we remember how Karen's downfall became a warning. But even more than that, we remember how our people acted, together, with unity and courage. That is what saved us, not any policy or profit. If you are watching this and live under the authority of an HOA, take this story to heart. Know your rights. Speak up when you see decisions that put profits over people. And most importantly, support leaders who respect both the law and the wisdom of their communities. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button if you believe communities deserve transparent leadership. And subscribe to HOA Files for more stories of ordinary neighbors using clever tactics to reclaim their power.